Welcome back. So now that we've made this super cool customer component that's standalone and you can just pass in any customer, let's try and actually create a list of customers that we can actually pass in to start having a list like multiple items right here. And let's try and figure out how we actually do that. So step one is actually we want to go down to our app component TS file right here because we don't want to just have a single customer anymore. We want to have a list of customers. I'll just keep this code for now and then I'll add a new property right here called customers, and that's actually going to be a customer array. Now notice this is just the same as you build an array inside C#. It's just a square bracket start end. Now we have a customers array right here. Now I wanted that customer array, I want to initialize it, and you can do it very simply just by saying equal array, and there we go. Let me just get rid of this extra line here because then it won't complain anymore. And of course I always forget this, but you have to put the this keyword in front of everything to explain that I'm actually referring to something in this class that I'm in right now. There we go. So now we have made an array and I want to kind of populate the array with at least 3 objects. And that's very simple. So I'm just going to grab the code here from the old customer that I created. I'm going to make a new line inside the array creation, and here I'm just going to add the first customer. Right? I'll do a comma, I'll add another one, I'll do a comma, and I'll add another one. So I'll just put in, this is Bilbo, and this is Dingo, Singo, okay, and this is Lars Smurfy, and this is Bilbo Baggins, and this is Singo Dingo, I don't know. Doesn't really matter, it's just names. And then I want to kind of just clean up while I'm in here, so I'll just remove this one because I don't want to add a single customer anymore. That's gone, and I don't want to keep this one either because I don't want the single customer available. So now, instead of having a single customer in our app component, I have a list of customers available. Now what do I do with the list of customers? What I want to do is if I go into the HTML right now of the app component, this guy right here, you'll notice now I have an error. And why is that? Because this guy doesn't exist anymore. So I need to somehow find a customer that I can put into this empty space. And how to do that? Well, we need a for loop. Whenever you have a list or an array or something like that, you need a loop to run over each of the guys inside the loop and then add them in here, right? That makes sense. So we can also make for loops inside Angular. Yay! So what I'm doing is I'm going to write ngFor, and then automatically it tries to help me to do this star ngFor. I'll do enter to put it in there, and then it's pretty much just adding some strings in here. And the first thing you need to know is there's a keyword called let, L-E-T, and that's actually for creating a local variable that we need right in here. We're going to just make this into a customer. So we're going to have a local variable called customer. And the way that we get this from an array inside a for loop in Angular is by saying off and then the name of the array we want to grab it from. So we're saying I want inside the customers array, I'm going to create for each customer inside that array, I'm going to create an app customer component or an app customer tag, right? And for each of them I'm going to get a reference to the customer, and I want to pass that reference into the new customer, right? So now I'm kind of passing it in. We can use another name here. Let's just put in cust just to make it less confusing maybe. There we go. So I'm saying for each of these guys that I create, I get a customer, and that guy I'm passing into our app customer. So let's just see what we got now, and there we go. We have a list of actual customers now, but they're kind of close. Let's try and see if we can maybe add some margin to this. So I'm going into the customer component CSS and just saying I want to add some margin. Let's give it 15 pixels. That's a lot, but anyway, let's just do it because it's my code and I can decide. You can decide yourself as well. And there we go. We actually have a list of customers now that are being presented. Isn't that awesome? It's that simple. Let's just zoom out a bit so it looks more in the right way here. And going back to the code again, let's just wrap this up by just having a look at the code. This is how we create arrays inside Typescript. This is how we initialize arrays inside Typescript. Of course, we're going to grab this array from a REST API soon. What? Yes, we're going to grab this data from a REST API. We're not going to hard code it, of course. But notice that's all we need. We need to get the data now from a REST API, and we can present it inside our list of customers. So there we go. The last thing we did was pretty much just go into the CSS and just change the margin a little bit to make it look prettier. And then we use this beautiful for loop to explain for each customer in the customers array, create a customer component to present a single customer. Look at the code, play around with it, figure it out. See you in the next lesson.